Welcome back to VeVe in 3 with me, Corey, aka Old Rhubarb on VeVe, and
me, Heather, from the VVT and also Heroes and Heroines.
And we just got back from our family visit to Ohio. First time I've been to see my family in about 3 years, I want to say. They'd never even met our youngest son, who's like a year and a half now. So it was great catching up with them, and what a comic to come back to. Amazing Fantasy number 15.
This comic is coming to the platform on Monday, August 8th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This time, the drop price is going to be 20 gems instead of the normal 6.99 gems. And we're seeing a super limited edition with 10,000 coming to the platform. With the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man being celebrated throughout the month of August, folks have been frothing at the mouth with speculation over this book arriving on VeVe. Now that it's here and confirmed, let's check out the book, look at the value, some of the history, discuss the meaning of Grail in the comic book world, and really get into all the different variations we're going to be seeing.
This comic was released, according to Marvel, on August 1st of 1962. And this was the first appearance of the Amazing Spider-Man. While Spider-Man is obviously a huge deal now, when this comic was being prepped for release, the character was meant to be just filler. And even worse, the publisher for Marvel at the time, Martin Goodman, he didn't like Spider-Man at all. He thought teenage heroes were meant to be sidekicks only. Spiders were not a great theme. People weren't going to like spiders. And he also didn't like that the Spider-Man that he was seeing in that first kind of tease of the character, he wasn't altruistic. He was about making money. In fact, he spent most of this comic trying to get on television to make some sweet, sweet pocket dough. Regardless, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko stuck to their guns and kept pushing Spider-Man, and it was a huge hit, especially with younger readers, and it brought in a surge of new, interested, enthusiastic young dudes reading comics. About 1 year later, Spider-Man would get his debut series with the release of The Amazing Spider-Man number 1, a comic already available on VeVe. And since its inception, the Spider-Man franchise has caught more than $30 billion in its web.
And speaking of webbing up those sweet paychecks, this comic is at the tippy top of value. A record sale back in 2021 saw a 9.6 graded book auction for $3.6 million. Even if you found one of these books smashed up, worn, and falling apart at its lowest grade, Amazing Fantasy 15 still would net you thousands of dollars. And this is going to bring us to the word Grail. This is a word that gets tossed around a lot concerning comics on the platform. But what does it mean? What is a Grail?
You must choose, but choose wisely. For as the true Grail will bring you life, the false Grail will take it from you.
For comics, there's no exact definition of the word Grail. Grail largely is accepted by most communities as something that's very limited, sort of scarce, and very, very popular. So lots and lots of collectors want it, talk about it, and that increases the mythology and the lore around that individual comic. For me, my Grail comic would be Journey into Mystery number 83, which is a first appearance for Thor, my favorite character from the Marvel lineup. And the big confusion in this space really is the difference between a spec book and a Grail. You hear people say, this is a future Grail, and really what they should be saying is, this is a spec book, a speculative book, and that's a book that's a little more risky. The usage of the character or the story within that comic may increase the value of that comic over time, or it might sit at a flat, stagnant rate for decades.
And for something like this Amazing Fantasy number 15, it's a no-brainer Grail. It's got value, it's got scarcity, it's got hype, and it's got collector money behind it, establishing it as the comic coming from Marvel on the platform.
But despite this comic being an obvious physical Grail, we kind of step into spec book territory with the VeVe exclusive rare and ultra rare covers coming to the platform. And these are coming from Alex Saviock and Laura Martin. And a cool thing is our secret rare, that's going to be featuring art from Steve Ditko himself because it's an interior panel pull. As for Alex Saviock, he began his professional career back in the late 70s. He's worked for multiple publishers, but he's most well known for his work on Spider-Man, which is appropriate. He's considered one of the top Spider-Man artists of all time, having worked with the character from 1986 until 2019. Laura Martin is a powerhouse colorist and has landed multiple Eisner Awards, which are like the Oscars for comics, as the best colorist. Before we check out these covers, a quick shout out to the Rhubarb Patch family. A big welcome to Dino, who has a fun VeVe variety channel you should check out. Dino leads the Egg Gang, so it only seemed fitting for him to have Dr. Robotnik, the Eggman himself, as an avatar. And you'll see me pop into Dino's live streams from time to time. We watch him eat butter, we do push-ups together, all of that good stuff. Definitely check out his channel if you like some highly entertaining, sort of speculative variety content all about VeVe. That being said, let's dig into these covers.
First, the classic cover is minting 6,000 editions. This is the exact replica of the original comic. The artwork from Steve Ditko is iconic, and the cover is so beloved and well-known that it has been homaged countless times throughout the years, including tomorrow with our VeVe exclusive homage covers. For me, this is my favorite book in the lineup. Between the scarcity and it being an exact replica, it's a massively high-priority book for our collection.
The uncommon vintage variant is minting 2,250 editions. Color selection on Spidey really gives this book some visual appeal. It's still instantly recognizable, but almost feels like a piece of wall art with a black and white backdrop. I've seen this exact style of color selection replicated on wooden and metal sign prints that people mount on the walls as sweet, sweet decor.
Our first VeVe exclusive cover is the Rare Hero variant, and it is minting 1,000 editions. If you have followed this channel for any amount of time, you'll know how much we love Alex Saviock and the treatment he gives to these exclusive covers. His art feels very much like the art from the era, but just cleaner. This homage cover gives color to Spider-Man, and it's awesome that he stayed true to the original costuming and web design.
The ultra-rare Vibranium variant is minting 500 editions, and Laura Martin puts on a show with her full coverage of color. This is a homage cover in the purest sense. Everything is the same, just refreshed. If you remember the original comic, the buildings in the background and sky were pretty much grayscale, black and white. Here we're getting to see what the entire book would have looked like colored in. For us, this is the next best book in the lineup from an aesthetic standpoint.
Last, the Secret Rare True Believer variant is minting a paltry 250 editions. This is an interior panel pull, and here is the panel the cover is being sourced from. This is the first page of the second part of the comic, and Spider-Man looks like his leg has been broken. He's auditioning for television in this panel. We mentioned it earlier, but this cover is featuring the artwork of Steve Ditko, which just takes the speculative value to a whole new level.
We tend to avoid speculation on the channel the best we can, but it kind of goes without saying, this comic drop is pretty much a lottery ticket. If you land one of these rare variants, you're just going to be in the money. You're just going to have a great addition to your collection. Just keep in mind, we are in one of the biggest bear markets, if not the biggest bear market that NFTs and the platform has ever seen. So if you do land one of these, I'd encourage you, be patient, because I think you might regret it once the markets recover and you see what these things actually climb and grow to be.
Best of luck on the drop if you decide to go for it, which we definitely think you should go for it. We usually drop into Johnny Dunn or VeVe Vault's live streams on drop days, but we're going to be cutting out a little early to make sure every iota of internet is channeling into our phones in hopes that we'll land something. Here's to wishing someone watching lands one of these, and make sure you let us know in the comments if you do. Until the next video, this is Heather
And Corey.
signing off.